Remember to put Jesus on the front. Pray before you go. Oh, yeah. Hello, Vicar. In the words of Geddy Lee, it's a brilliant red barchetta from a better vanished time, with the addition of LEDs and ABS and such. You got a 130 in the front and you got a 180 in the back, so you got a nice fat tire setup in the rear. All LEDs, that's really nice. This one's got anti-lock brakes. You can preset your suspension in the back. It's got 3 inches of travel in the rear, 5.2 in the front. It reminds me a little bit of my VTX 1800. You're sort of in the shape of a C when you ride it, but I'm good with that. It's sort of an aggressive riding position for kind of an aggressive bike. The first Indian Chief rolled off the line in 1922, 102 years ago. Wow. And it had a 1000cc V-twin. And look at the fit and finish you get with Indian Motors. Even the little things, just so thought out and beautiful in every way. 82 horses, 117 foot-pounds of torque. They do make a big bore kit for it, give you 20% more juice. All right, let's fire up this willing engine responding with a roar. Tire spitting gravel, I'll commit my weekly crime. Let's see. Turn signals are self-canceling. Boom, crash. I'm gonna hold on. Oh, hello, Vicar. Oh, yeah. Where have you been all my life? Oh, man, I love this thing. All right, there's 6th gear rumbling real low at 75, so your 6th gear will carry you nicely. 75, I'm going to go back to 5th, though, because I still feel like I'm at the low end of that gear. 5th gear, good pull. Good pull. Above 75, going to 80. This is an amazingly fun, raw machine to ride. Right, just blowing the froth off a cup. I'm going to take it down the highway and hit it a little more. Engine braking, good. Brakes, bitey and good. And it's got ABS, which is awesome. Spin around with shrieking tires to run the deadly race and go screaming through the valley as another joins the chase. Wow. That is really awesome. It's like having a roller coaster in your garage. And you just pull it out anytime you want and get on it. Between the noise and the speed, the horsepower, I love this thing. Yeah, it's old pushrod technology in the motor, but who cares? It pulls like a freight train. And it is pure American legend. I love the M109. I love the beauty of it. I thought it was gorgeous. You can watch that review if you like. This is a little more raw, but it's awesome. If it's this good like this, man, can you imagine you put the big bore kit on it? Now let's chat about that wheelbase, 64 inches. It's just 2 inches longer than the Scout, and about an inch and a half shorter than the VTX 1300, which means cornering's a breeze, although I think you got a 28-degree lean rate on this. Not that anybody really listens to that. Doing almost 80 in 6th gear, motor's quiet. You really can't talk about this bike without discussing the history of Indian just a little bit. It started as a bicycle company in 1897, and by 1902, they were cranking out motorcycles. 4-gallon tank, so I don't know what your miles per gallon is, but I know you got 82 horses and 117 foot-pounds of torque without the big bore kit. And you got a 4-gallon tank, so however far that gets you, that gets you. I thought the riding position would be tricky looking at the foot pegs, but I'm actually pretty comfortable on it. But it does remind me a little bit of my VTX 1800. Rear view mirrors are big, pretty good. See everything just fine. See behind me, it's great. Highway presence definitely there. Definitely there. I feel like I can literally be assertive with this bike. In 1955, a British company called Brockhouse Engineering bought Indian motorcycles, They bought the rights, so all they did was import Royal Enfields and put Indian badges on them. It's a nice big cruiser, and for the exhaust being stock, it does have a nice loud throaty grumble, man. I like the soundtrack. Alright, let's test out the cruise control. Boom. Alright, it says it's on. Boom, just set it. Oh yeah. Instant, very nice. Nice cruise control. But I gotta tell you, the throttle pull is not strenuous, neither is the clutch. It's a very easy bike to ride. For what it's giving you, for the horsepower it's giving you, it's an extremely easy bike to ride. And I feel like I can really just sort of whip it around. For the old school American bike, I'm absolutely loving this thing. These are manufactured in Spirit Lake, Iowa. Big shout out to Polaris for saving the company. You know, buy one of these, hang on to it for about 30 years. Mike Wolf and Frank Fritz will show up and offer you, well, they're cheap. I'll give you $500 for it, because, you know, they're going to get it on the truck and get it back to Iowa. Actually, just Mike Wolf will show up. I don't know what happened to Frank. They got to get him back on the show. Everybody liked Frank. You're riding a history piece with some modern frills attached to it. See, there's First. First has got good pull. Second's got great pull. This thing just goes. I mean, it just pulls like a freight train. I absolutely adore this thing, man. This thing's like Superman on crack. You hit this and he's like, gotta get to Lois, it's our first date. This thing pulls like Lois Lane just sent Superman a selfie. 14,000-ish for this one. It's a 2022. I could totally get it. First Indian went cross country in 1906. Took him 31 days, I think, to get from San Francisco to New York. Not on this bike, of course. Back then, they didn't have tires. Back then, motorcycles didn't have wheels. Back then, motorcycles only had one wheel, and you had to share it. And you were darn glad to have it back then. All right, we're going to take it in this parking lot up here and do a little slow maneuvering. See how balanced it is. All right, do a little slow maneuvering in here. See what we got. Man, this thing is so zippy, man. I love it. That's great. And there's your off button right there. Yeah, man, this bike's phenomenal. For sure, totally get one. Old raw school energy, absolutely love it. And now I guess it's time to race back to the barn and dream by the fireside. That's my review of the 2022 Indian Chief with ABS. Remember, put Jesus on the front, pray before you go. TG MotoRider, signing off.